Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Kunya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Devagata Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Devagata Yasodan Jajana Yasodanandana Ajajana Yamuna Tiram Vanacham Yamuna Tiram Yamuna Tiram Jaya Abhiham Devana 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaste Srityam Namaste Vanu Saraswati Vyasam Dojam Mudiyaya Nastavi Sakalesha Bhagavesha Nityam Bhagavasi Bhagavati Uttamastuke Bhakti You will be reading from Srimad Canto 9, Chapter 21, the Dynasty of Bharat, text 22 till 25. I will first recite things, text 22, 23, 24, and then we can recite 25 together. So Sukadev Goswami continues with reciting all the sons of the dynasty of Bharat. Text 22. Ajamidat Piradisus Tasya Bhuvam Brihat Dhanum Vihat Kayas Tatastasyam Uttyaste Chayatata. From Ajamida came a son named Riyadisu, and Riyadisu came a son named Riyadhanu. From Riyadhanu, a son named Riyadkaya, and from Riyadkaya, a son named Jayadratha. Atsudavishadastasya Venafitchamatayatu Uchiraspodrida Vidhanam Asya Vatsasadatsudam. The son of Jayadratha was Vishada, and his son was Shenachit. The sons of Shenachit were Uchiraspa, Gritharan, Kasya, and Vatsa. 24. Uchiraspa Sutaparam Vidusanastadantmajam Parasya Nipas Tasya Putram Satam Tvam. The son of Uchiraspa was Para, and the sons of Para were Vitushena and Nipa. Nipa had 100 sons. Text 25, which is important. Sakatyam Sukha Kamyayam Sakatyam Sukha Kamyayam Brahma Tattam Brahma Tattam Achichanat Yogasagavi Bharyayam Vishvakshenam Adhasudam Sakyam Sukha Kamyayam Brahma Tattam Achichanat Yogasagavi Bharyayam Vishvakshenam Adhasudam Sakyam Sukha Kamyayam Brahmadatta Achijanat Yogishaka Vibhayam Vishvakshanam Mahatsata
Sakyam Sukakanyayam
Sakritam Sukakanyayam
Ramadatam Janam
Brahmadatta Achijanat
Isagari Bharyayam
Yogishaka Vibhayam
Ishvatvena Madatsutam
Vishvakshanam Mahatsata
Sakyam Sukakanyayam
Sakritam Sukakanyayam Brahmadatta Achijanat
Isagari Bharyayam
Yogishaka
Sakyam Sukakanyayam Yogi Sarga Vivayayam Sakyam Sukakanyayam Ramadatam Jitana Yogi Sagari Vayayam Sakyam Dakitam Sakyam Sukakanyayam Ramadatam Jitana Yogi Sagari Vayayam
In his wife Ketvi, Sukakanyayam, who was the daughter of Sukha, Brahmadatta, the surnamed Brahmadatta, Achijanat, because yogi, a mystic yogi, Datta Brahmadatta, Kavi, by the name God of Saraswati, Ayayam, in the womb of his wife, Vishvakshanam, Adham, begot, Sutam, the son. Translation and work by Chaitanya Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. King Nipa begot a son named Brahmadatta through the womb of his wife Ketvi, who was the daughter of Sukha. And Brahmadatta, who was a great yogi, begot a son named Vishvaksena through the womb of his wife Saraswati. The Sukha mentioned here is different from the Sukadev Goswami, who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is described in great detail in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. There it is said that Vyasadeva maintained the daughter of Jabali as his wife, and that after they performed penances together for many years, he placed his seed in her womb. The child remained in the womb of his mother for 12 years. And when the father asked the son to come out, the son replied that he would not come out unless he were completely liberated from the influence of Maya. Vyasadeva then assured the child that he would not be influenced by Maya, but the child did not believe his father, for the father was still attached to his wife and children. Vyasadeva then went to Dwarka, informed the personality of Godhead about his problem. And the personality of Godhead, at Vyasadev's request, went to Vyasadev's cottage, where he assured the child in the womb that he would not be influenced by Maya. Thus assured, the child came out, but he immediately went away as Parivachakacharya. When the father, very much aggrieved, began to follow his saintly boy, Sukadev Goswami, the boy, created a duplicate Sukadev, who later entered family life. Therefore, the Sukha Kanya, or daughter of Sukadev, mentioned in this verse is the daughter of the duplicate or imitation Sukadev. The original Sukadev was a lifelong brahmachari. Let's read the verse again. Akritvyam Sukam Kamyayam Brahmadatam Achijana Yogi Sagavivaryayam Vishvakshanam Andhasudam. King Nipava got a son named Brahmadatta to the womb of his wife Ketvi, who was a daughter of Sukha. And Brahmadatta, who was a great yogi, got a son named Vishvaksena to the womb of his wife Saraswati. Om Mayan Devandasyan Chananjana Shake Chakshadvitaminatas Anshidorave Shri Chaitanya Lovisam Staptamena Bhutavishkamukadame Vandeham Shiva Shivdam Shiva Vaishnava Shivapam Sagajatam Sakamaranatam Tam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Sabdutam Paritam Saitam Krishna Stanya Deva Shirada Krishna Padan Sakarita Shivishnatam Hey Krishna Kauna Sindhudina Bandham Chilpate Krishna Kopta Kantu Tapta Kanchna Kamvai Ram Devi Anishveta Shivanusha Devi Panamama Kripi Vankha Kalta Vishakripa Sindhe Vishak Patinam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shanti Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachami. Nirvishesha Punyabha Pachkachai Visatam. Ila Prabhupada ki. Now, if one would read these verses without the commentaries, just the verses, would you understand this verse? That is the daughter of Sukha, you say, that it shows without the commentaries, we cannot understand the verses. And Srila Prabhupada's commentaries are more important than the verses, because these purports enable us to understand the verse in a practical sense in our situation. Therefore, it's so important that without the purports, you don't understand. But if you read this purport, that if someone who doesn't believe or has no faith in Bhakti, never heard of and read this verse, and he read this purport, a child in the womb for 12 years, must be mythology. Yes, 12 years. And what's also the Vyasadeva spoke to the child in the womb, that mothers may speak to the child in their womb, but it's mostly one-way communication. Here it was two-way communication. He replied, he said, I don't want to come out, yet forget it, unless I'm liberated. And then Krishna had to come to speak to him, to assure him, yes, you will not be influenced by Maya, liberated from birth. That we are all born in the darkness of ignorance. That he was born liberated. That is, yeah. This is, of course, we have, our faith does not depend on just hearing this. It's not just a belief. Krishna consciousness is practice. And one comes to a practical realization of one's relationship with Krishna and experience Krishna's reciprocation in one's life. That's practical. And that's where the real faith comes from the experience. Not just from hearing these things. This cosmic creation with all its wonders, the scientists are just beginning to understand something. But most of the things they don't understand. You can analyze how the digestion works, but what makes it work? What's this energy that makes it work? What's the energy that makes your cells change? The cell movement, all these things. That's divine energy, we can understand. And that is mystical for us. We cannot understand how it works. But, even these simple things are mystical. That, but we have here Sukadev Goswami. Is by the will of the Lord, all this happens. That it is defeating the laws of nature, as we know. That it is by the Lord's potency. We cannot minimize the Lord's potency. The Lord is omnipotent. He can do everything he wants. He has created these laws of material nature. If he decides not to follow it, it's like that. He can change the law. He makes the law. So we cannot minimize the Lord's potency. But then you have here Sukadev Goswami. He comes out of the womb and is liberated. Now, first, his liberation is called in the Bhagavatam, in the 7th chapter of the 1st canto. Such a person is called an Atma Ram. One who takes pleasure in the Atma is completely satisfied. So what is the position of liberation? We call it Brahman realization. Brahman realization, Aham Brahmasmi. We have realized I'm Brahman. I'm not this body. But that realization means that one identifies with the Atma, not with the body anymore. And then one feels pleasure in the self. So that is the Brahma Buddha stage, Brahma Buddha, Brahman realization, the beginning of spiritual life. It's just the beginning. Brahma Buddha, Prashanatma, is peaceful, satisfied, Asustina Kankshari. One is satisfied. That one gets the happiness of being completely peaceful. Because there are no material desires anymore, not a tinge of material desire. The Mayavadis, they cannot imagine even that. It's mentioned, Lord Brahma mentioned it. Yenye Vindaksha Vimuktamananas. That's Yenye Vindaksha Vimuktamananas. The second point. That Lord Brahma says that these impersonalists will attain this Brahman realization with great difficulty. In a year of Indakshi, Vimukta Maninas. Vimukta means liberation. Maninas means, mana means mind. They think themselves liberated, but factually they are not. Why are these impersonalists who come so close to Brahman realization do not really attain that Brahman realization? Why is that? Ayastabhava Avisuddha Buddhaya. Avisuddha Buddhaya. Their intelligence is Avisuddha. It's not really in goodness. It's not pure. That they didn't attain the Visuddha Sattva, the transcendental platform, because their intelligence is impure. But intelligence is pure. But why is their intelligence impure? is impersonalist. Because they have not realized Brahman. What is real Brahman realization? It's realizing who you are. And they did not. They did only realize one part. Aham Brahmasmi. I'm spirit. But who I am, they didn't realize. It's good that you know you are not this body. That is what they realized. I'm not this body. But they did not realize who they are. And according to Bhagavad Gita, who are we? We are a part and parcel, an eternal, separated part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And therefore we are a servant of the Lord. And they did not realize it. Therefore, they are subjected to false ego. Because they think I'm going to merge with Brahman and become God. That's actually a material desire. The greatest material desire that you can have. I want to become God. And that's a fallacy, that is a problem with them. That they did not obtain Brahman realization. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita condemns them in 9:11. Avajanti mamudam manushim tam ashvita brahmavama janati mama bhutam ashram. Fools deride me when I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature of all that be. So they think the highest is Brahman. And Krishna, when he descends, he takes a form made of material energy. It's Brahman manifested in the material energy. And what's the result? Mogasa, moga karmani, moga jnana vishetasa, rakshasi mashrim shiva, prakati mohin shvita. Those who are thus bewildered and attracted by demonic and atheistic views, in that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation cannot obtain liberation, Krishna says. Not possible. Their fruitive activities, their culture of knowledge are all defeated. That's heavy. But Sukadeva Goswami was not like that. He was a Brahmavadi. Brahmavadi. What's a Brahmavadi? That's Prehu Muni was asked by the sages to test who was supreme, who is supreme. Is it Lord Shiva? Is it Lord Vishnu? Or is it Brahma? That's Brahmavadi. They don't know what who is supreme. But they accept Brahman, but they don't know. And that is Brahmavadi. That many Brahmavadis think Brahman is supreme. They don't say that Krishna is made of material energy, but higher is Brahman. And that's a mistake they make. But they don't say that Krishna is a manifestation of the material energy. No, they accept Krishna as transcendental also. So, but in other words, Sukadeva Goswami was not offensive like the Mayavadis. But then what happened? He came out of the womb. He walked to the forest, and his father cried, my son, but only the echo of the trees responded. And he was gone. And then Srila Vyasadeva was thinking, How can I get him back into the ashram? Because I want to give him the Bhagavatam. And he sent out different, he sent out different disciples. He developed a strategy to get him back into the ashram. And he instructed his disciples to go near to search for Sukadev, and in his neighborhood to chant verses of the Bhagavatam, like verses from the 10th canto. Because he was thinking, how to get him back into the ashram. It's like you have a cage and you have a yellow canary bird in the cage. And the cage and the bird escapes from the cage. So how to get it back into the cage? He devised a plan. First, you put some seeds and put it from a distance of the cage. And the bird comes and takes the seed, goes away. Every day you put it a little closer to the cage. And every time the bird comes, take the seed. And finally, you put the seed into the cage. And then the bird comes, eats the seeds, and you close the cage. So that was Srila Vyasdev's strategy. So they went into the forest and were chanting verses like Tavakatam Vitam Tapta Jivanam Kavividitam Kamasanga Shravanamangalam Chimadam Bhuvi Venanti Yevapuridanachanam. So many other verses describing the essence of Vrindavan, the Bprs. And by hearing that, Sukadev Goswami became very much attracted. And what shows this? What proves that a liberated person has no desires, no material desires, but still he becomes attracted to something, because normally one who is liberated does not become attracted to anything in this world. But then he hears this version of the Bhagavatam and he becomes attracted. What does that prove? That there is a higher enjoyment than Brahman. That is what it proves. There is the activity of the soul in serving and glorifying Krishna. And this, therefore, because then one will experience Ananda Moya, the bliss of the spirit soul. Atmaram, they experience absence of misery. And it's good after so much suffering in this world, peaceful. But yes, but there is spiritual enjoyment. And that is what Narada tells to Sutta Goswami tells out to the sage of Namisaranya after telling the story of Narada Muni to Srila Vyasdev. It says, Atmarama Samunayo Nishantha Apyokrame Kovant Ahai to Kim Bhaktim Itham Buddha Gunahari. All different varieties of Atmarams who take pleasure in the Atma, spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service to the personality of Godhead. It means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. So that is the stage of Ruchi that comes after Nishta. Nishta is liberation. Then Ruchi comes, is attraction to the Supreme Lord. One becomes like an iron attracted by a magnet, and the magnet is Krishna. We become attracted to him. So this is very important what we learn here, because this is Param Pristvam Nivartate. So in the second chapter of the Gita, Krishna says that unless one gives up one can only give up the lower pleasure that of sensual enjoyment, and one can only give that up unless one gets a higher pleasure. Visya Vinavartate Nirasyadena Rasa Vashunga Sugyasa Parakristvam Vartate. Then body and soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. We must experience a higher taste. That we have that little cookbook, the higher taste. For most devotees, once they have tasted prasad, easy to give up meat eating of these things. No problem. That's done. That's an example of the higher taste. But the higher taste comes really after liberation. And how to get this higher taste? That Bhagavad Gita 10:9 Machita Matsata Prana Bodhayam Spashvam Kathayam Tatsamamyam Tushanti Sha Ramanti Cha 10:9. Give you the right translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. That's where the bliss comes from hearing the Bhagavatam, discussing the Bhagavatam. It's very important. And that gives great satisfaction. And satisfaction in spiritual life is very important. If we only chant our rounds and we don't hear about Krishna, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. Because our heart is not yet pure. So that is the way to get this higher taste. That even with an impure heart, you discuss about Krishna's pastimes. That what is the effect? We spoke already a few days ago about the effect of hearing the Bible. Because that was the point here. Sukadev Goswami sent out his disciples to get Srila Vyasadeva sent out his disciples to get Vyasadeva back in the ashram. And he was attracted just by hearing Krishna's pastimes. A liberated person is attracted to something higher. And of course, he's a liberated person. But even in a conditioned state, despite our weakness of heart, or being attracted to things in this world, we can also become attracted to Krishna. And how to do that? So, what's the effect of hearing the Bhagavatam? Yasyam Vaishuryamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhaktir Utpatyate Pumsa Soka Moha Bhayapaha. Soka, lamentation. Moha, illusion. Bhaya, fear. That apaha goes away. That simply by giving all reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotion and service for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fear. So what extinguishes this lamentation, illusion, and fear? Shall I read it again? No. Hearing, yes, but what is it? That it's the feeling for devotion and service for Krishna. That changes the feeling for devotion and service of Krishna. And that feeling you get from hearing about Krishna. And those who experience this, they want to speak about it. And then in the next chapter, we have Queen Kunti speaking about it. In the 8th chapter, that we find it first. Yes. Sringanti, Kayanti, Sringanti, Abhikshnasa, Smaranti Nandanti Tavetam Shana, Ahe Vipachanta Chirina Tavakam, Ava Prabha O Paramam Padam Pucham. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities. See, you have the word continuously. Abhikshnasa, continuously. So whatever you do, hear about Krishna. You cook in the kitchen, headphones off, on, or you hear Prabhupada speaking about Krishna. Those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which can alone stop the repetition of birth and death. They can see your lotus feet. Lotus feet, and the lotus in your heart. But just by continuously hearing, chanting, and repeating transcendental activities. So this is, This is one part. We heard in the other verse, it says the feeling was brought up. That, of course, spring conversaties also John Maasbra, Shutashka, Edemane, Bonapram. Najvrat, dat het artefact van Makinshim Rocha. There are 4 obstacles which prevent us to feelingly pray to Krishna. Janma, Asvaya, Janma, thinking I have a good birth, the best birth you can imagine. I'm a Canadian. Janma, Aishvaya, opulence. Yes, I'm attached to so many things, comfort. Shibir, I'm the most educated. I have so many titles. Oh, I'm beauty, handsome. But this is poison. It increases identification in the body, and it prevents us to feelingly pray for Krishna. It's that feeling in the heart that gives you satisfaction already. Srila Prabhupada speaks in the purport of 3.9. He says, in the preliminary stage of devotional service, they release the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. Interesting, from the service itself. If you do the service with the right internal mood, your heart may be contaminated, but the right internal mood, that means just to please Krishna, not asking anything for myself, selfless, out of love for Krishna. You feel this satisfaction. But in a mature state, they are actually situated in love of Godhead. And that's the point. Sukadeva Goswami, he was liberated. He was pure. He hears about Krishna. He becomes attracted to Krishna. And immediately, this love starts to sprout up. Because he's pure. We speak many times about Madhurya Kanambini, these 9 stages from Shraddha to Prema. And then you have Shadhu, Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha. It can take many, many years to come to Nishtha. It's not easy. Nishtha is liberation. Nishtha is the position of Sukadeva Goswami here, who came just out of the movement. Not easy. But the stages thereafter, Ruchi, Ashakti, and Bhava, and Prema, they go relatively much quicker than the lower. Of course, the higher stages, it's only by the mercy of Krishna. That, yes. Srila Prabhupada instructed this as become at least a Madhyamadikar. Madhyamadikar is the situation of Sukadeva Goswami, who came out of the womb, the perfect Brahman, liberated. That's high. If you are not liberated, you are a Kanishta. We are all Kanishtas, that's the reality. Of course, there are beginning Kanishtas, and those who are nearly liberated. A big difference. A big difference. Yes. And that's what I could say here on Sukadeva Goswami and his purport. Any comments? Yes.
The Kanishka,
Madhyam?
Madhyam, but the lowest one before Kanishka. There's no. Okay, Kanishka is the lowest one.
Yeah.
I thought it was true.
Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Uttam. that this is described in the 11th canto by Havi Yogendra. King Nimi asked about the stages. He explains his 3 stages. The lowest stage is Kanishta. He has great faith. He has faith in Krishna, not great faith, but he has some faith that the deity is Krishna. And he worships the deity, but he doesn't see the deity in his heart. He doesn't see the deity in the heart of others. And he cannot understand who is advanced, who is not advanced. And by that he makes offenses. So that is the lowest. And then the Madhyam sees 4 kinds. He sees Krishna, sees the devotees, he sees the devotees, he sees the innocent, and he sees the atheists who are against Krishna consciousness. And he has a different relationship with each 4. And we should act as such. So we should try to develop love for Krishna, friendship for the devotees. We preach to the innocent and we avoid the atheist. And then the highest is the Uttam, Adhikara. He sees Krishna everywhere and he thinks himself the lowest. That he will not take the position of spiritual master because he thinks himself the lowest.
Can you say he thinks he could be spiritual master?
Yeah, he has already obtained some of them. Yes.
The Madhyam part is situated at what level? Nishta or before Nishta? What's the level?
No.
German.
Yes, sure. There is the Madhyamadika is Nishta, liberated. That is for sure. Yes. But to become Madhyamadika, first you must act as a Madhyamadika. And I just explained to him these 4 relationships. And that's the position of a preacher in Krishna consciousness. If we preach, we do book distribution, we preach, we act as a Madhyamadikar, acting. We are not Madhyamadikar, but we act as a Madhyamadikar. But because we act as a Madhyamadikar, we are good candidates to become Madhyamadikar. Yeah, and that's where Srila Prabhupada gave us his mission as a way to quickly come to that point of Madhyamadikar. That is, yeah. And how can you see that someone is near to liberated position? First, you have the checklist in Bhagavad Gita, that from the spiritual advance, chapter 12, verses 14 till 20. And then you have the 20 items of knowledge, the 13th chapter, from 8 to 12, that these are things we can evaluate and see how, because Arjuna is asking that twice in Bhagavad Gita, once in the 2nd chapter, what are the symptoms of such a liberated person? And then he asks the same in the 14th chapter, what are the symptoms of one who has transcended the modes? And there Krishna gives a whole list in 3-4 verses with how you can see they are liberated. But generally, Nishta means a strict follower. A strict follower. And strict following Prabhupada is not easy. To be every morning at the morning program and the evening program, reading 2 hours a day, following everything very strictly. If one can do that, one is certainly near to Nishta. That I know, like devotees, like I know personally, Prahlad Maharaj, he joined in 68. And he never missed a morning program. Always very, very steady. Now, more than 50 years steadiness in devotion service. You must be already on a certain level. And you see that in his personality. That is an amazing personality. And always a simple devotee. Amazing many ways. That so we can recognize that. But if Prabhupada said also, if we get to the Madhyamādika, liberated, you don't take birth again. That you may take back, you may not be completely pure, your karma may be gone, but that's explained in Montreal. There's still a very slight thing. So, but then we come to the point that Srila Prabhupada, that the devotee asked Prabhupada, if we are 90% pure, will Krishna accept us? And then Srila Prabhupada said yes. Then the devotee said, I'm 85%. And Srila Prabhupada said yes, but not lower than 80. You must be nearly pure. And then you take birth in this universe, in a place where Krishna is pastime. And there you will be trained further. That because you associate with this eternal associate. That you are further trained, like and the examples are given in the 10th canto, the sages of Karanyaka, Dandakaranya sages who wanted a relationship with Lord Ram in conjugal love, and Lord Ram said, in my journey, Ekapatni, so in only Sita, but in 2 million years at the end of Prabhupada Yuga, I come as Krishna, and then you can have that relationship with me. So, and then they took birth as the gopis, please. Yes, that was also in Lord Brahma's, in Lord Ram's pastime, in the Mithila, Janak Maharaj was holding. He was the Janak Maharaj, the father of Sita. And all when at the coronation of, or no, not of the coronation, not at the wedding of Ram and Sita, they were all attracted to Ram and wanted a conjugal relationship with him. And they took also birth as gopis. And these groups of gopis, they have names, and but they were not 100% pure. Therefore, they could not go to the rasa dance. Their family members stopped them. But then, by the fire of separation, they became completely pure and got their spiritual bodies. And anyway, that's all explained in the 10th canto. But at the other side, there is another consideration here. Taking birth in Lord Krishna's pastimes, nice. But we are also in Krishna's pastimes. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, the Sankirtan movement. And Prabhupada, this is general. And it's still going on in the Sankirtan movement. This is also Krishna's pastime. And we should not see that as different. We are factual. And that's wonderful. Anything else? Yeah.
I said that an interesting point that to get a higher taste, we must to get free from this material enjoyment, we must get a higher taste to be able to leave it.
Yeah.
If someone comes to temple and he's not attracted by doing the seva, the service, and how is it even possible to grasp that we can develop a devotion?
Yeah, that's very difficult. But still, it is our mission to attract people and find ways first to find out who is receptive. Who is receptive. Philip did that also. He went to America. He did not preach without discrimination. No, he preached to those who were ready, his hippies. They were frustrated with modern society, and they were good candidates. Lord Chaitanya also did that. Lord Chaitanya, the first time he came to Varanasi, but then that he did not preach to the Mayavadis, they were criticizing him. But then a few years later, and that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he comes in Varanasi, and there is a Maharashtra Brahmin who invites him, please, this Pakistan Saraswati and this sannyasis want to have your association, and they became more favorable. And then he preached to them, and he converted them all into Vaishnavas. Well, he could do that. We cannot convert anybody. But so yes, we have to find out who is receptive. That therefore we must go out and find out who is receptive and bring them to the temple. Mostly those who are receptive are those who are at the junction of their lives. A junction of their lives, a change in their lives, like college students, mostly, they are in a junction of their lives. Oh yes, some are interested in yoga and following all the yoga principles can attract them in various ways. That's our duty. Srila Prabhupada was always discussing preaching strategies, how to attract people. And not only to attract people, but then to turn them into devotees, boil the milk, turn them into devotees, and then turn them from devotees in core members who are going to push the mission. We need people also in this temple to push forward and take responsibility. So we must cultivate them. And it's not easy, but that's our mission.
And I just had it a moment with the last.
Okay, no problem. It comes back. Good. Anything else? Yes, question.
Have you heard how the pure goes, like in the pure stage, and we see everyone has certain, we know that spiritual is ultimately eternal service of Krishna. So how can we understand that people engaged with, part of activities, how can we have this vision of seeing them as,
Yeah, it's the cause of that is we have developed this false ego, which is something else understood. And we identify with this false ego, and that's called Maya. And it's our duty to influence others so that they start to see a little light that, but it's not easy. But at least we can plant the seed, the idea, and then they will surely go further. But that is Krishna. Krishna respects the free will of every living entity. If they don't want to serve Krishna, they are put under Maya and suffer. But the wonder of Maya is how they don't know they are under Maya. They think everything is okay. And that's the problem.
So how is it that they are serving Krishna?
Yeah, everyone is servant of Krishna, means they are also serving Krishna, but through Maya. But they are serving Krishna indirectly through Maya. But that is suffering. But everyone is serving. People are serving their boss, their dog. Everyone wants to serve. But their object of service is misdirected. You have just to redirect it. That's the point. Prabhupada explained it that way. Thank you so much. Chandra Sriman Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.